thing where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street, they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. And people make you shout. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀.
Hello there.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
You can share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Invite the Lagos Abobakus. Invite the Buhari idiots, the Cyberbarians, and don't forget the Bat idiots too. Those who usually come around to call what they hear on Mayegun's diary political fake news. Well. The depleted foreign reserve of Nigeria, as we kind of, predicted, Dangote has been traced to have collected $3.4 billion from it. Share this broadcast.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀, làwa mọ̀ dododo. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í. Mayegun ti dé.
Mo ti dé o.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rà kì í. Mayegun ti dé.
Tinubu's minister want to lift 133 million Nigerians out of poverty 5 years ago. Shadia, the same minister in the same position under Buhari, said they were going to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. We know how that ended. Share the broadcast. We are back at it again, but with another bombshell loading in the next 24 hours. A lot of us may be exposed to some new information about Tinubu, courtesy Atiku Abubakar. There is a court case in America tomorrow because of Tinubu. Share this. Motideo. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun and it is live. Save for those who are going to watch it as a replay or premiere. Sorry about that, right? But it's almost the same. In the last few days on Mayegun's diary political, even though I am not an economist, okay, the paper title holders parading themselves as economists in Nigeria, at least they are the top people who knows about money, they know about trade, they know about the currency, economy, and on like that. So they have already formulated different policies. All of them have led Nigeria to one single destination, the poverty capital of the world. Even though I haven't been that kind of a paper certified economist, I have done my best as a layman on this platform to try to get you connected with the level of heist, fraud, corruption that took place under Boko Haram. Most of them that Tinubu is currently sitting on. The reason why Nigeria is broke, empty. I remember when I once said, Dangote Refinery is the new conduit money laundry pipe for the criminals in Nigeria. Let me rephrase. What APC, Egbekegbe, Boko Haram, and the rest of them did to Nigeria, they are not supposed to currently be in any way, under no circumstance, should be living in their own homes right now with what they did. I try my best to explain that to you. Because the consequences of that is that businesses will die. Jobs will be lost. Lives will be lost. Relationship, marriages will be broken. That is the economic consequences of what they have done to Nigeria. It is bigger than treason. It should be rated as high treason against Nigeria. Crimes will increase. Look at Nigeria today. Is that not the situation today? Right. APC, Al-Qaeda People's Congress, came together like an organized, sort of like organized criminals who perpetuated organized crime against millions of Nigerians. And it seems that you didn't even know that. Or you probably don't understand that. Make I explain. Layman to layman. When APC, Egbekegbe, came in 2015, what were they campaigning on? Fight against corruption. Were you not expecting some certain people to end up in jail? Because they were like so corrupt under Jonathan that the impunity, the carelessness of what are you going to do was so much that a lot of you forgot that it was the same Boko Haram, brainless Boko Haram, that led Nigeria and Nigerians to the most horrific economic destruction. First time in 30 years ago, but that was then, that was 38 years ago now. 30 years ago in 2015. In 30 months, it ruined Nigeria until it got kicked out. His whole story, 30 years later, the corruption under Jonathan, where people were so miffed, so pissed, that they forgot the rogue called Boko Haram, the Abacha, PTF, Abina PTDF chairman. They forgot all about that. A lot of them came out and said, even if he jailed their papa, even if he killed their papa, others said, even if they see them looting Central Bank of Nigeria, now change, they go still follow. It was an organized crime. So what did they do? They mapped out the strategic areas that are the basic source of revenue for Nigeria. The ones they could find, the ones Boko Haram could find the replacement for, it quickly replaced them. But you see the chunk of where the whole corruption took place, the center of it, the guy behind it, the guy in charge of that, Emefiole, that people thought would be the first to be jailed. The one that was moving money in bullion van for Fayose in Ekiti, you remember now? Boko Haram kept Emefiole. You are going to teach us how you did it, okay? We're going to need you. We need your expertise. So we are not sacking you. Stay. That's the first red flag. Then, the second reason why you were deceived into APC, Egbekegbe, was because of insecurity, Boko Haram. So what did they do? They went straight to that department too, defense. Looked around, I was like, okay, nobody now they here, they share the money meant for the fight against corruption. Anyway, hang on. He picked Dasuki and said Dasuki spent $2 billion meant for the fight against corruption, right? But lower the rank in the military. After sacking those he would sack, he kept the guy who also acknowledged that for every weapon claimed to have been bought by Jonathan, that indeed they were bought. And in fact, they were here. That was the Buratai the Butcher. He promoted Buratai the Butcher. We are going to need you too. You are the one in charge. Okay, yeah, you stay. Emefiele, you stay. So like an organized crime, right? Then they went straight to the third one, the golden goose laying the golden egg, Abi, the crude oil, NNPC. Abi? So he made him say he wanted to fight corruption in NNPC. What did they do? They opened up the entire vault of Nigeria. You see that golden goose, the goose, what instead of them waiting and keep kind of nurturing the goose to keep laying the eggs, what did they do? They opened up the goose to go and take the egg from inside. That's exactly what they did with the source of the revenue of Nigeria. 60 to 70% of Nigeria crude oil were lost to thieves that nobody knows. Suddenly, payment for subsidy suddenly skyrocketed. To who did you pay the money to? Nobody knows. So this whole thing was so organized that Baba, now that they were done, they finished Nigeria. Again, subsidy was supposed to be a scam, remember? Bokwari was supposed to build one refinery every year. Bokwari spent 8 years. He met 3 working refineries in Nigeria. He met 3 working refineries, 3. And by the time Bokwari left, the entire 3 refineries were gone. The promised refinery of 1 refinery every year, gone. But something also happened. They didn't just gone. Under Bokwari, when Ibe Kachuku was his Minister of State, Bokwari was Minister of Petrol. Ibe Kachuku in 4 years, on their own account, on their own document, Bokwari spent $2.1 billion reviving Nigeria refineries. Not just that, in an effort to say they were also building, they call it modular refineries, blah, 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 blah. On the issue of refineries, Bokwari's government spent $11 billion in trying to rejuvenate, refurbish, and they always do every year, of Nigeria refineries. Gone, just like that. After Ibeka Chiku, Timi Priesiva came on. Under Timi Priesiva, under Ibeka Chiku plus Timi Priesiva, that's where they came about the $11 billion. So refineries in Nigeria dead. But under Silva, that one came with one good news. They have invested in Niger Republic, refinery in Niger Republic. That refinery used to produce 20,000 barrels a day. Now, it has been upgraded to 40,000 barrels a day. So Nigeria has invested there. That was one of the success of Bokwari. Then they started the sing-song of Dangote Refinery. Because of Dangote Refinery, they drafted the policy, one kind of document. That document automatically turned Nigeria NNPC, National Oil Carrier, the one in charge of the sale of crude oil, licenses, and everything in Nigeria, suddenly sold to who? We don't know. It is now called NNPLC or something like that, or BNPLC. But you know the irony of it all, right? All of the staff of NNPC, they are turned to NPL, LPLC, whatever, they are still being paid by Nigeria. Their salary, all of their big staff, everybody, they are still being paid by Nigeria. Okay? But according to them, they reserved 25% stake for Nigeria in the new NNPLC. What is the job of NNPLC? A private company, public company, turned private company is still in charge of selling Nigeria crude oil, collecting money for it. That's their job. Government office, public office, private now. Now it's their job to sell. They still do what they do. All right? And they are still in charge of paying marketers. Do you see the scam there? All of this happened under Bukwari. So when they now suddenly came and said, oh, NNPLC is investing 30% in Dangote Refinery. So that automatically turned Dangote Refinery to that newborn, massive giant money laundry avenue for this criminal. Money laundering avenue. They didn't have any plan of building any refinery or Dangote Refinery, this or that, on the real, genuine, pure business ethic. No. You all know that Dangote is Nigeria's quota system billionaire. We didn't know. I remember I did tell you, I did say that. I said, for those of you who wanted to know Dangote very well, inside the Central Bank of Nigeria, where you have the central bank governor and all of the central bank exec, Abi, inside that same place, Dangote is there as like your unofficial governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Whenever Central Bank of Nigeria, under Emefiole especially, whenever they want to roll out any monetary policy, or they want the custom to do something for them, anything at all, Dangote inside that same building and his team, they would have to view it and vet it if it's not going to affect them. If any of them is going to affect them, it's not going to happen. You will never hear about it. But what I didn't know, I think I did also say that as well, like that as Emefiole have the key to Nigeria Central Bank vaults, so is Dangote. Or maybe that's just an an ironical whatever of saying it, I don't know. But what I didn't know was that he had so much hold on Nigeria that yesterday, what I told you 2 nights ago, came to light and became confirmed, and their media are now picking it up today, that the foreign reserve of Nigeria, that they handed over to Bukwari the balance of $34 billion, 33.6 or so billion dollars. The balance in that foreign reserve today is less than $3.7 billion. Where did that money go? Remember, we were asking that 2 days ago, including yesterday. Who collected that money? It's not part of the debt of Nigeria. So let's slow it down a little bit as well before we get to this part. When APC, Egbekegbe, came in 2015, they met the following money. And in fact, the first 3 months of when they came in, some other windfall also kind of happened. And what happened after they left? When APC, Egbekegbe, came in, the debt of Nigeria was kind of put at 7.3 trillion naira. It was, in fact, about 8 billion US dollars at the time. That was the debt of Nigeria. And you know what the exchange rate was at the time? 100 and central bank 160 naira to $1. That was the central bank exchange rate. While the black market was hovering around 190, 200 naira to $1. So now they met debt, of course. They also met money. In the foreign reserve of Nigeria, there was a balance of $33.6 billion right there. In another account called the excess crude account, there was also a balance of a balance of $7.5 billion. See these two money. Locally, they said Nigeria debt was somewhere around 5 trillion naira. Now, with all of this, what do you call it? All of this debt, as well as the asset they met. By the time Bokwari and his gang were done in 8 years, the total debt of Nigeria in dollars is now over $120 billion. You may be asking, what are you talking about? Yes, it is true. Now, what that simply means is that somehow, Nigeria debt in Naira is now over 90 trillion Naira. Do you see that gap? Now, you probably will think, but they invested it in infrastructure now. At least, I have entered the train from Ibadan to Lagos. I have also entered this blah, blah, blah here and there, wherever you probably have been. I have seen the airport. I have seen all the building for train station and all of that. Now, on this record as well, it is also a record that out of all the money they took, and they indeed actually used for some of these projects that you are talking about, all the projects, all of their entire project is now put at 94, what do you call it? Less than 94% completion, which means, yeah, they are so close to completion, but the money is gone. Now, they would have to borrow more to fund them or abandon them like they usually do in Nigeria. But that one is like, okay, fine. Okay, that's clear, Abi. Now, what happened to the foreign reserve of Nigeria from 33.7 or so billion, and 30 billion is gone? $30 billion of Nigeria from Nigerian foreign reserve is being wiped out right now. So we were asking, how could that happen? Did they just make those withdrawals just like that? They were asking for tranches of money, and they were using Nigeria foreign reserve as a collateral, just to assure the lenders, like, listen, we'll pay you. If we don't pay you, go and take it from our foreign reserve. And they were not telling Nigerians. In 2012, Dangote announced that he was going to build a refinery in Nigeria. And that was very good news. I mean, like, everybody would say, oh, that was a good news. And it was very clear at the time. I remember very well. Dangote then announced with some Oyinbo, Pakistanis and the rest of them around him, all those his business partners. And he said how he was going to source for the money. So I remember he said the refinery will have the capacity of refining 600,000 barrels of crude oil every day. And that means the Dangote refinery can fulfill or satisfy the local need to the point that when the refinery come to full production, Nigeria will not only have local consumption, price control. Nigeria would also be able to sell finished products to the neighboring countries. That was so great. But where are you going to see the money? So I remember this very well. Dangote and his guys said they were going to approach the European banks for, hang on, they said the refinery was going to cost $14 billion. I remember, $14 billion. And it was going to take them 5 years completion. So where were you going to see the money? A lot of us then said that, now Nigeria could give them the money. They called us enemy of Nigeria. Why are you this pessimistic? Why are you always so negative? We can see the scam. It's now you that they do abracadabra for. And then you begin to wonder, how did that happen? Why are they always like this? God go punish them. No. You will have to rise up and punish them someday. Or maybe you need more reason why. He said he was going to borrow 3.5 billion euros. In fact, this European partner said they were going to give him 3.5 billion euros. Dangote himself said the Dangote subsidiary and Dangote whatever, they are going to provide $2 billion. Okay? And then he said he was going to make it public and sell the shares to everybody so that he can raise money from the public. So all of you who are interested, you can buy the shares and he can raise that money. And he will get the money that he needed. In fact, I remember they did this same, I won't say fundraiser, or something about Dangote shares in that same year or that particular period, all over London, all over abroad. They're asking people to come and buy shares, Dangote Refinery, Dangote Refinery. This was supposed to be the clean way. Then something happened. They shifted it. Then, by 2017, 2018, they now said, oh, now they are ready. Finally, they are ready. So we didn't hear about the Europeans. We didn't hear about the bond. We didn't hear about anywhere they make any money from anymore. So the next thing, this Dangote Refinery became Bokwari APC, Egbekegbe's project in their NNPC. So they started writing policy. We are going to sell off NNPC by 2019, okay? We'll sell it off. So that by that, we can divert our money, all the stolen crude oil money, we can divert them and give some of them to Dangote, even though it may not be enough. Hey, hang on. Call Emefiole. Call him. He must be able to do something. When they called Emefiole, Nigeria was already underwater. Nigerians were already drowning. Economy was already kind of in doldrum. Bokwari was nowhere to be found. Are you with me? Then, fast forward to 2020. Coronavirus delay. 2021, coronavirus. 2022. Oh, Dangote Refinery is going to be ready in September 2022. No. It's going to be ready in December 2022. Oh, no. It's going to be launched by President Bokwari in February 2023. Oh, no. We have shifted it again. April 2023. Oh, finally. Hang on. We're going to open it on May 27, 2023. That's the final one. But you know something? On the day that they were doing the launching of Dangote refineries, that was when Emefiole said Dangote refinery was going to stand as a legacy of Bokwari, because it is not just about refining crude oil and giving it to Nigerians. It is more about strengthening the Naira, because Dangote refinery will be sold Nigeria crude oil in Naira. Remember the quota system, billionaire? So questions were like, what are you talking about? If a barrel of crude oil is $80 per barrel, so is Dangote going to pay the equivalent of $80 based on the exchange rate for each barrel? What is the arrangement? They said, no. They have to subsidize it for him. Then on the day of that launching, they now said, everybody looking for Dangote refinery to come and sell cheap oil, they can continue to wait because Dangote is not a charity. Okay, if I say reality don't the setting, but is the refinery ready? Yes, it's going to ready in July. By July. So why are you now kind of opening it now? Why is everybody everywhere from all over the place launching the biggest refinery in the world when it is not ready until July, 2 months later? No. It's just because it's legacy project. It's ready. They're just doing final touches. But it's not ready. It's nowhere ready. Now it's very ready. So Emefiole now drop the bombshell. Dangote has paid back. Hang on. Dangote refinery is, because of inflation, Dangote refinery is now worth $22 billion in Nigeria economy. Do you see how they celebrated that? It's $22 billion investment. 22 billion. Hang on. And Nigeria economy, when APC, Egbekegbe came in, was over 500 billion economy. But today, Nigeria economy is rebased to be somewhere around 280 billion economy. It crashed by half. Are you following that? Thank you so much, Jerry. Baba. 5 billion economy crashed down to half in 8 years. Sorry, give me a sec. Something pop up there. Don't go anywhere. Sorry for that little distraction, okay? I could only quickly just undo something that popped up, as I am always multitasking here. You know that, right? Anyway, so they started pontificating, glorifying how big 22 billion is for Nigeria. Look at this. It's going to turn around. It's going blah, 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 blah. Anyway, then Emefiole said, the refinery that is yet to refine 1 teaspoonful of crude oil has paid back 70% of the loan. Hold up. It's like, hold up. Emefiole, hang on. What loan are you talking about? You know, people like us have already told you that they are the people who are funding Dangote refinery because, number one, it is not really profitable except you have somebody who is going to help you bear any kind of losses. And for people like Dangote, it's only Nigeria that can have to bear the cost and the loss. What Nigerians didn't know was that the corruption was so deep that because of Dangote, they wiped out $30 billion from Nigerian foreign reserve. Dangote had no money to build any refinery because of Bokwari's evil government too. As much as Dangote is a quota system billionaire, there was a time that after COVID, even Nigeria couldn't save him. Half of his wealth was wiped out because of that. I don't know if you know that time. Yeah, sometimes in 2021, 2020, half of Dangote's money, billions, he had no money to build any refinery. There was no one anywhere in the part of this world ready to give any money for any refinery. Trust me, it wasn't profitable for them. Except if Nigeria was ready to bear the costs and the loss, and they hide it from Nigerians, the organized crime. So what happened? We didn't know where they got money. We didn't know how much Nigeria borrowed him. But you know something? 30 billion US dollars from Nigerian foreign reserve has been wiped off because Bokwari authorized Emefiole to use Nigerian foreign reserve as a collateral for free cash from American banks. Now, the American banks have realized that this money, this particular money given to Nigeria, was given to them under a different borrow arrangement as usual. The one that you go there, you borrow 1 billion, you borrow 2 billion. No, this one is like under the desk deal. Central bank of a country talking to the biggest banks in America and telling them we need serious forex backup. We are suffering from our economy will crash if we don't have it, and World Bank will not let us just withdraw this money. So they didn't just go to World Bank and withdraw the money, just go there and withdraw the money and give it to Dangote. Dangote Yagba, $20 billion. Go and build refinery. That one wouldn't have, that one would be so kind of clear and glaring. So they didn't do that because they also need to make money from it. Sure, you get. Bokwari and his gang, they needed to make money from it. What did they do? They went to JP Morgan. JP Morgan. They went to Goldman Sachs in America and they asked them to help them mop up cash. Now, cash, They mop up $30 billion cash for these criminals in Nigeria. Probably put it on a plane, and flew it down to Nigeria. And when it got to Nigeria, they say, oh yeah, take Dangote. Despite the money, Dangote refinery is not even 50% completed. It's not even close to 50% completion. So those who gave them the under the desk money, now them can't raise alarm now. That listen, this one is different from all your other loans. No. Other loans are like, we arrange that one that, no. This one is now cash. Now cash we gave to your country. We gave your country cash because they gave us the login detail to your foreign reserve. So all we need to do right now is just to use the login detail and withdraw our money. And the interest, that's all. We don't have any business with any, whatever happened to your country, whatever happened to your economy, whatever they tell you. All we can do is just take our 30 billion and leave you with the 3.7 billion. And Tinubu is walking about like it is nothing. A lot of you are being told they want to lift you 133 million of you out of poverty. With what? Shena with rope, they go lift you out of the poverty. When their own scam of lifting you out of that poverty is not different from the scam pulled by Bokwari. And what was the scam? Give you money, give you food. The poor Nigerians, the poor this and that. Is that not what they give to you? Unfortunately, in this their own ongoing scam. Number one, you would expect them to explain what happened to that money. Is it still fake news? So you now know what they did from what has just come to light now, is that they said out of that money that they gave to Buhari, JP Morgan said, the money we gave to Buhari, there was a time that they were in part of the evidence they gave to us to collect that cash was that they wanted to sell the dollar to Dangote. So what they finally discovered was that Nigeria lost over 60% of the value of the money they gave to them when they exchanged it for Dangote. Let me explain that. In one of their trips to America to use Nigeria as collateral for Dangote, part of the document they kind of tendered there said they needed $3.4 billion. They didn't want to go and withdraw it from the Nigerian Foreign Reserve. So they went to this lender in America and said, listen, we need $3.4 billion. Now, this is why we need the money, okay? Because we are building the biggest refinery in Nigeria. And Nigerian government is investing in this refinery. So we want to provide the forex needed for this firm, Dangote. And they're like, okay, tell us how this is going to work out. By the time they work the whole thing out, the American part, they work out what their interest would be for giving them that money. When it was the turn of Nigeria, it was like, don't worry, we know how to do it. That is what we are going to do. Now, what they discovered was that since that was what they said they want to use the money for, so here is the deal. At the time, when they took the money from JP Morgan, Naira to dollar was around 600 Naira to a dollar. That was the exchange rate value then. So when they gave them the 3.4 billion, guess how much Central Bank of Nigeria sold the dollar to Dangote? Guess. Any ridiculous number that comes to your mind, just say it. Anything. Because I have seen where they gave on their Form M, Abina Form A, that form that you are going to fill if you need forex from Central Bank. I have seen where these rogues, when they are doing their round tripping, when they are exchanging the Naira to a dollar in Nigeria for, let's see, for around 350 Naira to a dollar. These guys were exchanging it for 11 Naira to a dollar. Yes, it happened. Evidence did that time. So tell me, what's that ridiculous number? From 600 naira to what? For Dangote? I'll tell you. Well, 150, 350, 250. You try. But here is the point. Central Bank of Nigeria sold it to Dangote for 102 naira to $1 when the exchange rate was over 600 naira. So JP Morgan discovered that. But it wasn't just sold to Dangote for 102 naira. There was some other scheme behind that, which means instead of giving Dangote 3.4 billion, they had to make their own cut out of that 3.4 billion and they gave the rest to Dangote. So it was a deal of, we know say you no go pay, no worry, just take them. Something like that, like just take them. But let there be record that this money was paid to you as far back as, can you imagine this? So they backdated it. That 3.4 billion they collected around 2020, 2021. They backdated it back as far back as 2015. Now, JP Morgan discovered that. Oh, that's why this whole thing became public. Oh. Like, listen, Nigerians, you don't get money anywhere. Oh. Your criminal leaders, whatever they did with your money, well, here it is. We're going to get our own without having to join those who are going to be trying to forgive your debt in the future. This was the scam. And this was how 3.4 billion US dollars. It wasn't loaned to Dangote. It was sold to him, which means Dangote needed dollars. Central Bank provided the dollars. Dangote provided the equivalent naira. The deal was done. It wasn't a loan. Do you understand the difference? So when Emefiole said at Dangote's launch, the refinery, that Dangote has paid back 70% of the loan they gave to him, was he talking about the loan, the money they took and used Nigeria foreign reserve as collateral? So many questions, Abi. Maybe that should continue to read there on your mind. I won't make a fresh tea. Don't go anywhere. This is just like a part A of it. 1 second. Thank you. And that's just the surface of it. I mean, of the whole thing. Because at the end of the day, for the sake of national security, Nigeria didn't just lose out in rebuilding their refineries to at least show the sign that there are actual efforts in reducing the sufferings of Nigerians whose only benefit, as many people say, is this reduced petrol price, which, if it is as what it is right now, has now affected almost everything, every part of their life. Today. So that could have shown some sign of at least they are doing something now. In one of the scams, ladies and gentlemen, there is a place called Kaduna Refinery. Do you know that the refinery they build in Kaduna? Man, these people need Jerry. Honestly, if you know, if you understand, I'm going on. At that refinery in Kaduna, there is no single refining thing, anything at all happening there. But to run the refinery, it was costing Nigeria over 200 billion naira, where they have less than 140 people as staff of Kaduna Refinery that have nothing to do with refining anything. They are there, Kaduna Refinery. And of course, now, you know, it's just like job for the boys. And just same way everywhere. Tinubu has appointed himself as a minister of petroleum. He has created another ministry, and he call it Ministry of Gas Resources. So he has made himself the minister of Ministry of Gas Resources, Minister of Gas Resources. Then he appointed the two stooges as Minister of State. They are like the junior ministers in that ministry. So which simply means the scam continues and the suffering continues. When Obasanjo came in 1999, the foreign reserve of Nigeria, the one they could account for, was less than $4 billion. That was the worst of the military. 8 years after Bukuari, they didn't just deplete the resources, the vault. They didn't just run into indebtedness and poverty. They also destroyed the source of revenue of Nigeria. And they continue to do so even right now. So if they tell you they want to lift 100 million out of poverty, what's the magic? Because right now, it is exactly what Bukwari did that they are doing right now. NNPC, a private company, supposed private company, is now the one that went to go and borrow $3 billion for Nigeria. Remember, under Emefiole and Bukwari, they went to America. JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs, under Tinubu in 2 months. The private company NNPC just went to somewhere in Africa. They call it Afrexim, Afrexim, Africa Export-Import Bank, to go and collect cash like Emefiole did, collected cash and used the foreign reserve as collateral. Tinubu and his NNPLC, they have now gone to Afrexim Bank to go and collect $3 billion cash. And they are using Nigeria crude oil as collateral. Nobody knows how much crude oil will be paid for this. Nobody knows how long this crude oil is going to be taken. Nobody knows who are those who are going to be taking the crude oil, under what arrangement and from where. But these guys have collected the cash already. Yeah, they've started spending the cash. Because according to them, the oil marketers in Nigeria can now come and collect and come and buy cheap dollars. So once they buy cheap dollars, then they will bring in cheap oil. That is the subsidy. So what Bukwari did, they are already doing it. If you change the money that they've already taken, break them down one by one. The one they collected to give you food, rice. The same one they collected and shared, and they were going to give you money, 10,000, 12,000. They are all borrowed. The one they are trying to use to stop the further destruction of Naira, they were all borrowed. Put them together in dollars, ladies and gentlemen. In 3 months of Tinubu and gang, they have already borrowed over $4 billion. It will break it into pieces and check it into Naira. In 3 months, these criminals have already taken nearly 3 trillion Naira gbese. 3 trillion already. We don't even know. They said they saved 1 trillion naira. Ask them, where's the 1 trillion naira they saved from subsidy? Because see 1 trillion naira. Remember, a whole page inside the Tinubu's manifesto where he glorified and he repeatedly told you, if there is no money, print more money. Now, I just heard that one today, whether true or lie, And in fact, I'm going to say, I want to believe it. Part of the economic program of Tinubu nomics, ṣé ti gbọ́, òun ni wọ́n ń pè ní remove 40 and print more money. What does that mean? Redenomination of Nigeria money. Yeah, you heard that right. But make I explain them to you very well. Since $1 it's dollar to naira has now gone up to over 900 naira to $1. And they just borrowed $3 billion to slow it down and pretend that dollar a day, everything is going to, no. Once they spend the $3 billion in a month or so, the whole journey will continue. Now will continue his journey to Somalia. I don't know the Somalia currency today, but me only paro from Miami. You are straight to Ghana, TNI. Or you probably will feel better if I say Ghana. But let me explain it to you. It will get to a stage where with the whole thing, where the whole thing is going, it will get to a stage whereby $1 to naira in Nigeria will be like 2,000 naira to $1, 3,000 naira to £1 sterling. They know it's going to get there with all this latest discovery. They know it's going to get there. They are now kind of contemplating of redenominating Nigeria currency. Kalu is going to tell you that soon. What they want to do is that shebi 5 naira no get value anymore. Abishoshi ne value. 1 naira no get, 5 naira no get, 10 naira no get. The 20 naira no get any value anymore. They have been told that a sachet of pure water in Nigeria right now is about 20 naira per sachet. The same sachet pure water around 5 naira. Meta 10 naira. Anyway, things have changed, Abi. Which means 100 naira is the new 10 naira. Abi? 1,000 naira is the new 100 naira. Abi? 10,000 naira is the new 1,000 naira. If you give somebody 100,000 naira, is the new 10,000 naira. All this reality settling means that things are going to Onibiton law, and I believe Somalia Somalia is closer. On the road to Somalia, governless place. Somebody says Zimbabwe, maybe. To Zimbabwe or to avoid Zimbabwe, they will give you a Ghanaian treatment. What did they do in Ghana when Ghanaians started experiencing this kind of thing? You know what they did? They cut off, they printed, they have to print a 10,000 naira notes. They have to print 20,000 naira notes. So as for you to be able to buy bread, you need 10,000 naira, 10,000 CDs. You need 20,000 CDs. You want to buy cigar, packet of cigar, you need 50,000 CDs. Kind of like that. To save themselves out of that embarrassment, you know what they did? They cut off 4 zeros. Which simply make it look like, when you cut off 4 zeros, it make it look like it's 20 naira. 20,000 CDs, 20 naira. Oh, that's better. Oh, that's lighter. But there's something they won't tell you. Remember that if you are buying this, I don't know what to use for you, but okay, I'll use something else. Let's say you are buying a bag of rice. That's too big. That's too much. Anything smaller. Let's say you are buying, a 5 kg rice. For example, right? For example, you are buying a 5 kg rice for, let's say, 10,000 naira. All right? No, that's too much. 5 kg times, no, okay. 5,000 naira. 5 kg rice, okay? That's the value. So you can count 10, 500 naira to buy that 5 kg. Or you can count 1,000 naira to buy that 5 kg. Now imagine if that 5 kg rice is not 5,000 naira, it is 50,000 naira. For example. Sure you get it. Will be like, this 5 kg, 50,000 naira. This country has gone bad though. Now, when they cut out 30, and that 5 kg is now 50 naira. Shebi to you, now 50 naira you they pay, but you know that you just cut 30 out, Abi. This is the other thing that will happen. Remember, it is still that your 5,000 naira reduced to 50 naira. It is still that same 5,000 kg bag that you are paying 50 naira for. Suddenly, that 5 kg rice will not be 50 naira anymore. it will be maybe 70 naira or 100 naira. Shebi, you know that 100 naira will sound like, oh, how much is 100 naira? Oh, it's 100 naira. But what just happened to you there is that if they left your 5,000 naira, if they left your note without removing any zero, Abi, you know that there is no how bad that 5,000 naira kg rice will suddenly jump to 10,000 naira and you will scream. Imagine that your bottled water, which you buy for, let's say, 200 naira per bottle, okay? You know that it's not possible for that 200 naira bottle to suddenly change to 400 naira, like just like that overnight, without you having to say, at least you should get to 250 first, 300, 350, 400. Well, how can it just jump? That's what will happen to when they remove the zero. They are contemplating it. It is called Tinubunomics. Some of you will think that you are really, really strong. Baba, when you are strong, and now you go know, say, all the pictures of people you are seeing in Zimbabwe using wheelbarrow to push and go and buy what have you. Before you know it, you will see yourselves in that state. So what will end up, what everything will end up as they will continue, because I am 100% sure they will continue. They're not going to stop. The only thing that can save Nigeria from that pit that APC have already dug for everyone is that if these guys suddenly just resign, all of them, PDP, APC, every one of them, local government chairman, they just resign and then march straight to the nearest barracks or police station and report themselves to be arrested. Because by so doing, 80% of the speedometer at which Nigeria is accelerating to self-destruction by these greedy criminals, Baba, it can reduce by 80%, at least 80%. It has to stop like everywhere, like all the places. From northern Nigeria to eastern Nigeria to western Nigeria to everywhere. They have to like kind of resign, all of them, and report themselves to the nearest barracks for summary detention until proven innocent. They are all guilty until proven innocent. So by so doing, it will just be like a train that is like a train wreck. That is just like, it will just be like a miracle, and it will slow down. It's impossible, Abi. Now I know it's impossible. So when I now told you that, so why are you telling me that don't talk like that, Mayegun? Let us pray for you. What did Legend say? Let us pray for. Do I look like Kiloting based to uni? I look like one of your, what do you call it? Overseer, it's a common sense thing.